It's 360 day.
Boom.
I say it every episode.
What's up, YouTube?
Got my 360 hat on. Somebody called me out last week for that.
Right. I don't know. My kid gave me the orange one back. He's like, Dad, I like this one better.
I like that one.
No. So I'm trying to rocking it out again. All right. So we're gonna learn a few things today.
Fish.
Got some fish. It's no longer an aquarium. It's a fish tank.
That's awesome.
Right. Yep. Got fish in it. I'm hoping to see that we get fish kind of about every week at this point in time. Yeah. And then the lights are coming soon, so hopefully we'll see.
Got some sneak previews of the hood and stuff today, don't we?
Yeah, you'll see the hood kind of coming together.
Heck yeah.
I think it's gonna be done this week, and hopefully ship next week. And then maybe we'll get like batches of coral every week. I don't know. We'll start to see these things. So we got a bunch of this stuff. I got a whole bunch of stuff actually trying to feed these fish, and some thoughts on that. It kind of works together with our fish food fails videos.
Yeah, we did last week.
So we'll see that. And what else are we gonna see? Are we gonna see the cause of that noisy outer shutoff valve, I think, in there?
Oh, and your the Mobius, the flow patterns and stuff from the Mobius.
Oh, you're gonna see the bare bottom stuff too. I got actually
in action.
Yeah, in action. You're gonna see some really cool stuff about the bare bottom today as well. So I don't know. That's all of it. But first,
ask questions along the way too.
Oh yeah. So today we're gonna try to get the questions in real time. So you're not waiting till the end. So I don't know, if we don't do it, it's Adam's fault. Otherwise, no, we're gonna do it best. He's gonna put them up there, queue them up. Randy will pull them out. So if you have questions or comments, just stuff you want to talk about in real time, let's do it.
Yeah.
So first, order of business here. I got a request to share this one. This one's kind of goofy. So there it is. Let's show it. Skims blowout event.
It's a blowout event.
Yeah,
up
why
to 50% off.
Is the big key.
So there's a reason why we're talking. We've never really advertised or anything in the 360, but there's a reason why we're talking about skims here today.
Yeah,
just real quick.
I don't really know, but I think COVID had its first hit. I don't know. A lot of aquarium companies have done really well in this.
Yeah, they have.
You're staying at home.
You're staying at home. You can grab stuff for your fish tank.
I don't know. Skims went MIA. I haven't heard from them in months, and we finally decided, due to lack of response, they must have poofed. I don't know. They certainly poofed. It seems like with our money. I don't know.
Oh no!
Boo for us, I guess.
Your benefit though.
Yeah, your benefit for the moment. So so I think we're clearancing them. I think we're going to be done with Skims, sadly. I don't know. So if you want a Skims product, I guess they're super cheap. Also, though, more importantly, the reason I actually brought this up today.
If you own Skims.
If you own Skims product, there's a bunch we warranted this stuff, so we had all of the parts and stuff here.
Get them now.
So yeah, if you want a part, this is it. Unless somebody else revives that brand somewhere, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
But go ahead. So I don't know. There you go. Hopefully get a good deal on the closeout of Skims.
Up to 50% off on some.
Yeah, I think it's it's at various prices off.
Yeah,
I don't know how they come over. I saw that the algae reactor is 50% off. Nobody cares.
Huge.
So
all right,
there we go.
Done with that.
All right. So here's the thing. I got pictures of the hood that's coming. This is the most exciting part actually, because they're going to start. Lighting's coming right after that. Everybody knows they're doing the Kessels and the Reef Brights in there. You'll get to see that. Here's the frame that's going around it.
You're well past our 4 months of the 4 month cycle type deal now too, aren't you?
I gotta be at least there. I don't know. Who knows, man?
So lights need to come. Oh man, that thing looks cool.
All right, so it's a shell around. It's not 80-20 in there, but it's like 80-20. So anodized, stronger stuff than 80-20.
Powder coated black or something.
So it's no, I think it's anodized.
Oh, so it's just black.
So and it's got a frame in there, and then racks for the lights and stuff. And you can see the outer frame. I think it's called Naughty Elder is the wood.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Stained pictures, the next one here, so you can start to come to the same color as what we already have.
So looking at this one, you'll have bars that go across that open space in the top to hold mount the lights to.
Yep. There's another picture here. Yeah, so there's bars. You can't really see the whole thing in there. Oh, you can probably see it in the next picture actually. Let's go to that one.
So it's not a closed top then. So then you get a lot of. You don't have to worry about the air circulation.
No, there'll be a top
fans.
You just can't see. Oh, there'll be a top. There is air circulate. Initially as can't we trap some of the humidity in there? That's stupid. Don't do that. It'll just rain in there and actually probably get in all the electronics of the lights. So you actually do have to vent it and keep the air out of there. So there will be a top on it, but we'll have some fans on it. It's actually just texted me last night about some cool fans he's going to put in there. So we'll share that in real time when we see it.
What about the gap there? against the wall. So the plumbing, you can kind of see in this next picture.
Oh,
that spot with the plumbing.
This is two things here. We're going to show you, share an answer, but while you're looking at it, there is all that plumbing there's a piece that will go there to cover that up as well.
Just tie right into the hood?
So we'll have access to all the plumbing behind there, but it'll be hidden by the wood, so it'll be a peninsula that comes out of there. Right? All right, there's a reason I showed this though, that light right there. So I get this question, we see this question like almost every week. Maybe go back to this thing. Why are we not sitting in front of this tank? It's the Beerus 360, not 160. Why, oh why would we do that? All right, so here's the answer. So in case you haven't been paying attention, I mean, maybe you're hidden under a rock or something, I don't know.
Doubtful.
It's like COVID time, right?
Yeah.
So I got a house. I got
like
2 kids in there and a pregnant wife. By the way, I'm gonna have a baby here on November 6th, like any moment. Number 3. So if I brought TV crew into my house 3 times a week, I would just call myself a terrible father. I don't know. So that's one of the main reasons why we're sitting in front of this tank. The second thing is I learned this with the 160 when we were building it. It's actually terribly dull to sit in front of an empty tank.
Oh yeah.
Right? It is actually
nothing's happening.
Like, why are you guys sitting in front of this tank that's empty? So it's actually would be really boring to do that too.
Yep.
So I don't know. We're sitting in front of this one. You can remind yourselves what this one used to look like back in the day and what that one's going to look like in the future. At some point, hopefully COVID is gone, right? We move on past that world.
You could be in there.
We'll be down there. I mean, Randy and I go in there, but I don't want a whole crew over there all the time. That's certainly my wife does.
We've got 4 people in here right now, so.
Yeah, all right, so there you go. All right, so we got some fish. I went down to Delta, picked them up.
There's a couple questions about the hood while we're still on here.
Let's shoot it.
We're gonna have to pull them from here because our thing's not working. So, Ryan, did you just use the ABS PVC base layer in the 360? Oh, okay. 360 question. The one that Randy did a segment on a year or so back. So they're asking if in this 160 is the bottom that ABS, like 1/4 inch black textured ABS.
Yeah, you'll see more of it today in a little bit of why, but yeah, it's just that black textured ABS in there.
Because this is a Reef Savvy tank, and because yours is a Reef Savvy tank, he does it called like the ghost bottom or something like that. So
the back is also that way.
Yeah.
So on the end of the peninsula. So yeah, it's that textured ABS. We sell it in little cubes, but you can also get it
we sell like 2x2 sheets.
Yeah, like little 2x2 sheets, but honestly, then you have to stitch together.
Go to your plastic store.
There's a plastic sheet near, just look for a plastic supply near you. You can get a 4x8 sheet.
Yep.
And if you don't have a truck, it's the kind of thing that you can just score with a sharp knife and snap it.
Yeah.
So you can get it in your car.
Okay.
All right.
Now our comments are working, so he's going to pull some comments over while we go on.
All right, perfect. All right, so very first video here. What do we? Oh yeah, let's shoot at the video here. All right, so this is what the bottom looks like. It's a bare bottom. You can see that all the sand that's kind of like, this is the sand that was like on the glued joints of the rock, collects up in the front there.
Yeah.
But the flow has done a really good job. I've never cleaned this once.
There's nothing on the bottom except for that one spot.
Yeah, so the flow solution of having pumps near the bottom has done a really good job of keeping the bottom clean. It won't keep it clean of coralline algae, sadly. I'll have to clean it from that.
Right.
But it's keeping everything suspended, that all the gunk and stuff, and send it down the drain. And a little bit of sand is collecting there, so I'll probably siphon that out now that most of the sand that's going to come off probably has come off after the flow's been on for a while. So it keeps it really, really clean. So I don't know. So far, this is part of the benefit of the bare bottom, but you're going to see it in a minute. And this continues to be one of the biggest things. I see it in every episode, like, oh man, I can't believe you went bare bottom. And then I'll see somebody say, that's old news, dude. We've already had that conversation 5 times. I don't know. But it's cool to see some of the benefits in real time, that it's actually staying clean that way.
Yeah.
And there is a compounding benefit you'll see in a minute.
Yeah, like a little hidden benefit.
All right, so now I've got these 2 fish in there. You're going to see a bunch of them in the upcoming shots,
and
right?
they're like an inch and a half or so. They're pretty big right now, aren't they?
Well, they're about yay big.
Yeah.
These are fish that commonly come 6 inches. So let's just they're going to be feeding here, but you'll see them here. So go ahead, put it on. So these are what I originally called They're female cherry anthias at the moment. One of them will become a male and have slightly different coloration. And they're pretty medium sized is what I call them for my tank, but they actually often come, like, I guess in 6-inch when you buy them.
Oh yeah.
And Elliot told me they actually don't do very good when you get them 6 inches. They kind of like shrink up and like just have problems.
Not adapted to the tank life or something?
Yeah, they're also kind of a deeper water fish, I think from Japan.
Oh, interesting.
So the fact that you get small ones, he says small ones do a lot better. So he found me some small ones, and it'll be fun to see these guys.
Yeah.
I like the fact that they're going to get big over time, because that's one of the things I haven't been able to have in a tank like the 160 or similar is like big fish.
Yeah.
This is gonna be an evolution of the hobby for me to be able to house larger fish. So big 6-inch anthias will be fun.
If it was my tank in my house, it would be the opportunity for me to get some big giant dinner plate look downs. Big silver giant huge.
I gotta be honest, I had this conversation the other day.
Yeah.
When this thing's over, the next one is going to be a fish-only tank upstairs.
Oh yeah.
Right. So like, I know a lot of people are like, blasphemy. What do you mean? I don't know. I've never had a fish-only tank, right?
I don't think.
And I would never probably not have a reef tank, but this in addition would allow us to have like a totally different type of saltwater tank in our lives.
Just all of those colors and sizes swimming around.
I'll be interested actually now that you got the debate of bare bottom, non-bare bottom, or whatever. What about live rock versus coral insert? I can't wait to see what that debate ends up like. I don't have the answer yet, but it'll be interesting to see. I don't know if that will really happen, but like you say, look downs or something. I would love to have some really big fish and
things.
Totally different thing, giant angels and stuff like this. Stuff that just don't do well in a reef tank. Yeah. So, all right. So we fed them, okay. So if you can go back to that one video that I just showed. So you can see them actually, I think in this one, we're feeding PE shrimp pellets. And you'll see them eat like 2.
There's a couple.
And then they don't care.
But the pellets kind of went off.
Yeah, the pellets are gone, man.
They went back towards the overflow.
So I sprinkled them in, and then it's like, boom, lost in 360 gallons of water.
Giant tank.
Yeah, like they can't find them anymore. And I got to tell you, they don't seem to like these pellets, but they actually like them more than the other ones. So this was actually, I don't know, it's actually day by day they seem to like different ones better. But you can see they only went after 2 of them and they didn't go hunting them down. But you're going to see something different. So
is that the food's problem?
There's a couple of different problems here. They just seem to not really want pellet food, because I tried a whole variety. You're going to see it here in just a second. But I took a bunch of different approaches. They'll eat a couple, so they're eating. They just aren't like aggressively going after it. And I got to solve that, because these are high energy fish, and I got to figure out a way to make sure they're fed well properly. So one of the things though, do you use the feed mode on pumps?
I used to, because it was an awesome feature, and I've never had that feature type thing before. And then I just kind of gave up on it, because one, sometimes it'd last a little longer than I want to, or I'd forget to. But I could feed frozen. I could watch my fish eat most of it without turning a feed mode on, and that's really all I needed. So I stopped using it. But I have used it.
Okay, I never really used it much. I toyed around with it, whatever. Yeah. It's there, it's great. Like in this tank, we dump the food in, and they all go after it, and it just blows back and forth, and they eat it all. All right, so in this tank, I dump it in, and it goes like the current just takes it, and it shoots it away, and then spreads it out over this huge area, and it's really hard for them to find it. And so I turned on, here in this photo, the feed mode on the Vortex, right?
Yeah.
So
and
the MP60s.
They're all 4 tied together, so it should be one button press.
I just hit the one button press of feed mode, and then in the video here, in the next video, you'll see what happens instead. So I go and I feed the P mysis here, and instead of blowing all over the tank, it just drops. You'll also kind of see that they don't eat it. But like you can see, like how it just kind of drops right down.
Got one,
they're a little interested, but they're not gobbling it up or anything like that. And like I want to be careful. Like this is one of the better foods out there, so we're not like this isn't. They just don't like pellet foods for some reason.
Yeah.
So you gotta. I'd rather than train them to do this. I'm gonna get the food they like. All right. So it just drops straight down, and they don't have to go chasing it all over the tank. So I gotta tell you, feed mode is on my list to do.
So when this tank is chock full of fish, everybody can get something.
I'll probably way overfeed, and you're gonna see in a second why way overfeeding in this thing is not going to be an issue.
Not an issue.
Yeah, it's really impressive actually. All right, so next one.
It's good news for your corals in the future.
All right, so I tried to up the game here, and I used the TD. Oh no, these are the eggs.
Oh, the super eggs.
Yeah,
stocks.
right.
Yeah.
And so I dumped these little eggs in here. They actually were eating this for days.
I've seen Antheas go after this pretty hardcore.
So these are like little fish eggs that are preserved. Look at that. Not really super interested, actually. I mean, I've never seen anything like that before. These are picky damn fish. Yeah, so I don't know. I can't wait. So by the way, I'm going to bring home some frozen foods. I'll tell you in a minute like what frozen foods I'm going to try, what I've seen the best success with. I mean, they're looking at them, and they were definitely eating them the night before. But again, the same thing. Like they eat 2 and move on with life.
Right.
I don't know. They're just not into it. All right, so then I tried to up the game here. I got my TDO. Everybody loves TDO. And then not only that, but I used the KZ fish booster,
that fish
right?
amino, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And actually, the first time I did this, they gobbled it all up. They're like, this was the one, right? And now they decided they're pickier than this. I don't know. So basically, what you do is just put this right into the pellets, and the pellets soak it all up.
I've never seen that stuff.
All right, I let it soak here for just a second, but honestly, I don't think I needed to do that because all the liquid was gone almost immediately. So the next video will show us feeding it.
Oh, that TDO pellets sucked it right up.
It's kind of this like yellow stuff too. It's interesting. It has like a, I guess you see the like amino acid from Red Sea kind of gives that like yellow burst like this.
Yeah, there you go. Okay.
All right, so I mean, there's got to be so much flavor in there.
Come on.
Not really interested. Nope. Yeah, I don't know. Very interesting. They were after it though the first time I did it. First time I did it, they're like, boom, went all after it. And again, this is the type of thing. Normally, when you add this kind of attractant to the food, the fish are going crazy for it. So we'll definitely see. All right. So the next one is everybody's favorite. Like, let's increase the palatability with Selco.
Favorite.
Yeah. Selco. I mean, this has been around forever, right?
Oh,
Probably 20 plus years.
Has.
And so I'm gonna get right to the punch here. Didn't really help.
Selcon, nothing.
Yeah. By the way, because of this video, I just polluted the hell out of my tank. I dumped so much food this morning in this tank to do this, but you're gonna see exactly why in a minute. Why it doesn't even matter, man. It's amazing. And you're gonna see exactly how much food is floating around this tank once I turn the pumps on too. It's
because
really
this feed
crazy.
mode's still on, I guess.
Yep, feed mode's still on. So you can see they're not really fighting against the current or anything. They're just sitting there waiting, I guess. But yeah.
I wonder if somebody's gonna say you should have used garlic.
I'm not going to get into the garlic debate. I don't know, man. Okay. I don't believe it. I decided I don't believe the garlic thing.
Okay.
Maybe
works on bass. That's secret juice for bass.
I may escalate after. I think the frozen food will be the thing that beats it up. So, all right. So here's the deal. When you see all this food, I just polluted the hell out of the tank. So let's see all that food floating around in there. It does collect in the same place as the sand does. So there's all this food that's there. I'm going to tell you right now, though, in an hour, it's all gone. It's all gone down the drain because it's keeping it suspended. It's not just settling out there. And even the little bit that settles out eventually gets picked up with a new current, and then it gets carried down the overflow to be removed. So, and here's the cool part about this bare bottom is all this stuff isn't getting trapped in the sand. All that food that I just dumped in there isn't getting...
If you had a sand bed, it would have got lodged in a lot of places, not moved, and then start decomposing.
Specifically underneath the rock in the ledges where it just settles out, it's done.
Yeah.
And because we got flow on both the front half of the rock and the back half of the rock, it doesn't settle out behind the rock either. So we're going to keep it all suspended. But you can see, like in this next photo here, look at how much food it stays in the water column.
Negative space.
Yeah,
to the rescue.
It's keeping all of it not settling down in the sand. And you're going to see, like, debate, I like sand or don't like sand. I don't know. You can see this is one of the advantages of this is that you keep all the pollution out of the sand. You don't have to clean it all out then. And again, we'll show you a little pile of stuff that builds up here. Yeah, this is quite a bit, right? It's kind of cool though, man. See how it's all getting suspended, and when the currents kick up from the vortex, scaling up and down, it will all go down the overflow. So where does it go? And why won't I see it in an hour? And why is it actually removed from the tank? And why is not overfeeding all of those pellets going to be a problem for me tomorrow? This is why. So the skimmer is actually working. You can see the skimmer is removing. It's the color of food. But this is it. This is the thing. The moment I fed it, you can see an hour later, it was full of like the pellets and even the dissolved stuff from the pellets breaking down. And this thing captures it all as it goes down the overflow.
Before it breaks down.
And just rolls it right up out of the tank, right? So, and you're gonna see the tank is clean. The tank doesn't have any more pellets in it. It just rolls it right out of the tank there, right? It's pretty cool. And so I think there's another shot of it maybe from the side here. You can see the clean area in the bottom. And I'm really, really happy with this type of filtration. It just captures this stuff. I don't have to wait for it to break down and hope the protein skimmer gets it.
Right.
I've got it long before that.
Because the protein skimmer is not going to grab all those little pellets and particles. It may grab some. It may get some in the cup, but definitely not that whole pile that was sitting there at the bottom of the tank.
Essentially, though, for those of you that got filter socks, it's the same thing.
Same thing.
As long as you clean them out every 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
Right?
So if I was a heavy feeder and I was diligent about my filter sock cleaning, probably wouldn't be the problem. Same thing.
But specifically with this thing, it's combined with the bare bottom. So if I can keep, and the super heavy flow that, the bare bottom thing, if you can go back to the, maybe, I don't think there is a shot of this. Like right here, I guess. So if you can go back, part of the reason this works is because I have pumps shooting across the bottom.
Yeah.
If I had pumps shooting across the bottom with sand, the sand would just blow all over the place. Right? So you wouldn't even be able to do this if you had sand.
You have to turn your pumps so way down.
So like now, I can just dump food in, not really worry about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll monitor nitrate and phosphate to make sure that's true. But for the most part, man, I can see the food in the tank, and then I can see it gone.
Yeah.
Right? So like visually, with my eyes, man, I can see it's working.
Yeah.
It's not collecting, and it's keeping the tank super clean.
Well, Dave, a droid, I believe, or Dev, a droid here says, it doesn't look like there's much flow going through the sump. And there's probably not as much as as many people think.
So I haven't hooked up the flow meters yet.
Yeah.
The Apex stuff is like coming in future episodes. So I don't know exactly. I haven't set to like 50%.
Yeah.
Whatever the pump is. But my guess is we're probably only turning over maybe
3-4 times.
I'd say 2-3 times.
2-3 times.
Right? I don't know.
Yeah.
Right in that neighborhood.
But if you watch our return pump mistakes, that was 10x is one of the mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, if it goes through that, it means it's
the water's heated.
I've had the filter floss says if I do it 2-3 times
per hour,
that means I can filter all the water every 20 minutes.
That's plenty.
It's plenty. It's just enough to heat the water, filter the water.
It was obviously enough to capture all of those little particles of food within an hour.
Yeah.
And pull them out of the tank with the filter floss.
I don't know. Works. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Some other questions
There's
here?
A couple of them here. Yeah, there's, let's see, Jacob is asking, are you going to let the coralline algae build up on the bottom of the tank? Sort of like we did here.
The answer is no way. I'm going to keep it, I'm going to do my best to keep it clean, because what happens is the coralline algae kind of looks fine when it gets a thin film, and then it builds on itself.
It makes for some really cool structures if you're kind of into that thing, but...
Yeah. I like the negative space that black creates, and I don't know to be honest, man, who knows what happened. Yeah. I'm gonna try to keep it clean, but depends on how fast it grows and where and what. But that black negative space actually looks really nice and high contrast for me.
Yeah.
And the purple, now the bottom of the tank and the rock looks the exact same.
You lose a lot of depth and contrast. Yeah.
I don't know. And then in here I've seen it where it like grows on top of itself and it gets like all bubbly and ridgy, and it just doesn't. I don't know. It just doesn't look clean to me.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see. I also I'm a weird oddball here. I don't really like putting like encrusting corals on the bottom.
Oh, and that's a big thing with some with bare bottoms. You have it in your office.
Yep.
WWC does it all the time. Granted, theirs is probably for fragging purposes because it makes it way easy to frag like a Monty or something. But I don't know. I kind of like it. You can see it's like this Jedi mind trick and the sunset Monty and stuff like that. I think it's kind of cool, but to each his own.
I know it is. It's just a personal preference, right? I don't mind having corals down there. Like I don't mind having a rock and having coral in there, or some euphyllia floating around or anything. It's just like the sheets of the coral. I actually just like it on the rock. I don't know.
Looks unnatural a little bit, kind of, because it's just flat.
It's just a personal preference.
Yeah, there's a couple. Here, Paul asked a question. He says, to date, what is the single most enjoyable thing about the build and the single most frustrating? Good question.
Well, so I don't know, maybe it'd be interesting to see your take on this one. So I think the most enjoyable thing is actually the interaction that I've got with a lot of the friends I've had in the industry. Like, a lot of people have like donated stuff to this, but not just like donated some like free stuff, man. Their actual time.
Yeah.
So like Kyle Elder helped me design this thing. I had a lot of conversations with Chris Benner on the stand and Felix with the tank, Reef Savvy, and I've had a lot of conversations, even like Lou at Tropic Marin about the dosing, and all these just like getting it. It's kind of like a part of a personal journey for me and all the relationships that I've built like since we started the whole hobby, and it's more than just a tank now.
Yeah.
It's like something that, having
takes a
Jeremy
village.
fly out, or actually drove, because it was like COVID stuff.
That's right.
Drove all the way to my house to help me plumb it, man. Like having one of my friends do that kind of thing. And like when I was telling him, I actually shot him a phone picture of the plumbing in the back the other day. And and every time I look at that, man, I'm like, this was cool. Thank you. I don't know. I really appreciate it.
It was a good time.
So that's probably the best part. Most frustrating part. Actually, it's not really related to the tank. It's related to the balance of having two kids, running a business, trying to shoot as many videos as known to man, and try to build an aquarium, and writing scripts on every Saturday and Sunday morning when I would normally, probably in a different life, be messing with my aquarium.
Yeah.
And trying to balance it all. It's just not happening as fast as I would like, I guess. But I don't know, that's just the nature of my life too.
Yeah. Well, for me, because it's your build, but I'm there a lot of times too. The most enjoyable thing is I'm not in a position right now to where I could set up my own tank or my dream tank. So I get to live vicariously through you on the Apex control board and all of this crazy light up stuff. And I can't wait to program your Apex for, the alerts to go off and lights to come on and all this automatic stuff to happen. So I get a sense of enjoyment out of that. Like it was my own tank I'd be excited about. So frustrating. We've had some challenges when it comes to cutting the stuff correct. I've never been one to measure very, it's just cut and pray and keep shaving off until it fits type deal, and then it doesn't look that great. It's called what is that? Randy, something I do all the time, I jankify it. This is what they call it around the office. It's jankified.
Run and shoot, man.
I'm so used to just as fast as I can get it up and be functional versus, looking nice. So there is kind of that. It is frustrating to kind of go through that process and, we messed it up, recut. We messed it up, remeasure.
Getting it right, man, in having,
the final product,
up in the
though,
game,
yeah.
It's
worth it.
Awesome.
To spend the time.
But it takes so much more time than you'd imagine to plan every last hole through the wall and make sure there's room for the pumps in the future.
Yeah.
And how do you route all these cords in a safe manner? There's so many unbelievable steps. Just when you thought you had it. I don't know. Yeah, so there's that element for sure. All right, so what was the next video here?
Cool. We were talking about
the flow.
Yeah, we're talking about flow. So you kicked them up. The filtration cleared the stuff out in an hour, or the flow and cleared it out in an hour. Mm-hmm. There's a reason why the flow cleared it out.
All right, so the MP60s, actually the Mobius thing here worked out really, really well. So I can show this photo here. So you can see two of them are 2/3 of the way up, and two of them are 2/3 or 1/3 of the way up. and they're going in opposite. So they're creating those alternating gyres in the tank using, what is the reef, not crest, tidal swell.
Tidal swell. Yep.
Tidal swell mode. And you can see here, I've got them slaved kind of interesting. I had to try it a couple of different ways to get it to work, but this is the way I did it. So I got the top left up here, the circulation tab, Dave. Yeah, so I got the top left, and they're all run at 75% right now. I find like after 85, you can kind of hear them a little bit, and 10% don't make any difference
pumps,
to me.
Regardless of the pump, most pumps, especially big ones, are loud past 75%. You turn any large pump on at 100, you're probably going to hear a hum.
Yeah, it's kind of strange how that is. Yeah. So I just turned them down a little bit because I don't care, and I just want it to be silent. So you can see that I got tidal swell, that purple circle on the top left, and then the top bottom, I have it synced to that one. But it's synced so it matches it precisely. So if it's on 30%, that one's on 30%. Now, the other two in the top right and bottom right, they're an anti-sync. So they do the opposite of what the other one does. So this is the screen that you can see in Mobius now, next sheet. And so you can kind of set to where you want it to. You can see that little square in the middle is anti-sync.
Yep.
It's a child and it's a parent to the top left. So they're all connected to just the top left, either in sync or anti-sync of that. And it's doing what I wanted. So it's doing the gyre that goes all the way around.
It shoots this way, then it shoots this way, then it shoots this way.
Meets in different points, and so I don't know. I've been really happy with it. It's keeping everything clean. We'll see how it goes with the corals.
It's obviously worked when you get that food cleared out in a couple seconds. Well, and I guess one thing I was thinking too is, when you kick these things back on, so you have it on feed mode, you'll feed all of these fish that are going to be in the tank. And then when you kick it back on, those fish that didn't get a chance to, or there's a little bit of time lingering, it all piles right in that one spot. And you just they can peck at it as it leaves the aquarium.
I'm sure that some fish will do that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know, it's kind of cool, man. You just see it spin around and does all the things that you kind of expected. What's cool is actually now that there's fish in there, you can really see the current because they're swimming against it. So even though the water's shooting this way, like 6 inches over here, it's actually going the other direction, right? And so, I don't know, it's really cool to see them swimming against it and as it shifts around where they have to swim against. This is one of the things, I'll ask all of you out there if you do this or not. I've been kind of considering it, and I'm not really sure. I've been considering turning the flow down at night. Right? So the corals don't have photosynthesis going on, so they don't have to free themselves of all of the
waste and
toxic byproducts of oxidants and whatnot. And they're not really consuming calcium and alkalinity, to my knowledge, when the lights are off to any great degree. So maybe let it be off for a little bit so they can free themselves of the excess hydrogen and maybe oxygen or oxidants. But to give the fish a break in a tank like this, it's really open. There isn't as many places where the flow is really low. Yeah. So I'm getting really good flow through the whole thing. And so there aren't that many places where they can really rest all that easy. So I've been considering whether or not you turn them down.
I have a personal experience with turning them down. And I had, in my 125, I had two MP40s, one on either side. And I had them maxed out on reef crest mode. I was, trying to grow SPS, and my tangs, I always had a powder brown tang, and they're looking fine. They're doing great. But every morning when I'd wake up, so obviously I didn't QT back when I was a beginner, and I just grabbed some fish and threw them in there. He would be covered in ick, and then as the day and I had it night mode. And then as the day progressed with the reef crest on, they'd kind of, I don't know, it's probably anecdotal because maybe that process doesn't happen that fast, but what I felt like I noticed was if I don't turn the power heads down to 50% or night mode at night, and I just left it reef crest all the time, he would not have as many of the ick parasites on him. Probably unrelated, but now I've got this in the back of my mind that I don't do night mode.
Well, I'm not going to have ick in this tank, and I'm pretty confident of it. But outside of that, I guess I don't know. They fall off, they reproduce in the sand, right? And then, or on the substrate, and then they go and catch the fish. I mean, I'm not going to go along with you all the way, but I'll come along for the journey, right? It's probably harder for the parasites to catch the fish at high velocity.
As a new reefer, that was the only thing I could attribute to it because I changed and it stopped happening to the fish. Who knows what I could have changed diet, been better about maintenance, been doing all this other stuff to take stresses off of them, but for some reason that one lingers in the back of my mind.
So speaking of anecdotal, right? Because I was actually going to go to an anecdotal thing as well. We all have just experiences because nobody knows the right answer. Turn them off at night or not off, but down to half or whatever. So here's the thing: is I asked this question when I was a young reefer, like a few years in, and like of course I got like flow shamed. 15 people are like, the ocean's currents don't turn down at night. You know, and like, okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And then actually somebody came in and said, while that is true, that currents deep under the water, 30, 40 feet under the water, don't often change.
Right.
Like the top area does, because a lot of the flow is actually created by weather, right?
Which
and weather
decreases it.
And changes in weather pushes the water around, and there's more weather during the day than there is at night.
Yeah, interesting. Well, and in the ocean, like although those currents may not slow down at night, there is tons of space for the fish to get out of the currents. So they can go somewhere.
There's all kinds of low flow areas.
Low flow areas. But if you never have a low flow area at any point in time.
So right tool, right job, right? Applied the correct way. And in this case, that was actually my concern. My concern is I'm going to wake up and have one of them like stuck to, even with the little guard thing on there.
Oh yeah.
That when I wake up and have one stuck to, because they're going to like, they have nowhere to rest, or they're going to get stressed out by the fact that there's so much flow in this tank and there's so little area to hide from it. And there are areas, it's just not as many as if you stack all the rock against the back of the glass, there's like tons of ultra low flow areas in the tank, right? That just isn't here. So I don't know. I'd be curious to see what you guys think. If you would turn them down at night, like give everybody a break. I'm not sure the corals need it. But I'm not going to say they don't either. I don't think there's anybody that really knows the answer to this question definitively. But I'd be curious, based on your guys' experience, what you think. All right. So also, I found the answer to one of the questions last week. And so here's this for some of you guys. So we had the RO controller, and why my auto shutoff valve would just go. It made so much noise in my house. You could hear 2 floors up. Right,
But you said you would shake your RO unit, let some air out, and then it'd go back to normal.
Yeah, so I'd shake the RO, I'd get all the gas out of the auto shut-off valve, and then it'd run fine for a couple of days before. And it's some kind of like equilibrium issue with the pressure that was like causing this hum. And I even replaced the auto shut-off valve with this fancy one that I found. Still did the same thing. Actually, I think it was worse. So I just got the RO controller that allows that container to fill all the way down, and it goes all the way up. Solenoid cuts it off, and there's a float there to catch it if this thing fails.
So it only does it for like a period of time instead of all the time.
Well, I took off the outer shutoff valve. I don't need it anymore because the solenoid cuts off water to the whole RO system. Like worst case scenario, the float doesn't work and the solenoid doesn't work or something. The float switch, the float valve will catch it, and if I ever see it full, I'll know that it's like time to change out this solenoid.
But the question last week was, why is there constantly air in the lines?
If you get all the air out, where did the air come back from?
Yeah.
And actually, this is one of the great things. There's so many things that the community has shared, like, why did you guys do it that way? Oh, we gotta go fix it, or whatnot. This one was actually just a good piece of insight I didn't really think about, and I was trying to think of there must be like air in my water, and it was just immediately apparent after I saw the thread, so I thought I'd share it. So I have an RO system for the whole house here because my water's so bad, and it's 150 psi. So
that's
air,
a lot.
Yeah. So we're condensing, pushing so much pressure. It's likely we're getting gas, especially because it's coming out of a well. So like there could be like CO2 or other gases from the well that's in there, but probably due to the pressure from the 150 psi. And then when I pump it into the household
storage
tank, and then but also the lines in the house, it's under less pressure and the gas starts to come out. And why I get it only takes a couple bubbles of air inside the outer shut-off valve to hit. So that's probably why. But like I haven't had that problem after I did the Tunes RO controller, so that's my solution.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It's nice to know why you're running into issues because I never run into that before. Yeah. All right. Any other questions here?
There's a few.
Bunch of them.
Our questions are kind of having a hard time here, but let's start from the top. If you could make your canopy to seal humidity, can't you just do something to the light fixtures to protect them? And if they are IP60 rated?
I think you'd end up with mold, no matter what. I think it'd be the humidity. That kind of humidity is just bad news in general. Like, I think in general, you just run into some kind of undesirable issue. And like, could you seal? I for sure the Kessels, like we got open vents for where they fan in the air. Like
they're meant to be vented.
Yeah, they're not meant to work in 100% humidity.
Yeah. You have enough. I think you have enough humidity protection with the covers on your stand in the fish room that most of your evaporation is happening from the display tank anyway.
I have as much evaporation as I'm ever going to have right now.
Yeah.
Because there's no hood on there at all.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's not a problem right now.
Yeah, it's not a problem right now. So it's possible, like the Apex works off a humidistat. So it's possible I'll only vent it when the humidity hits a certain range and then vent it out and turn it on.
We'll plug a relative humidity meter in your breakout box and have it kick fans on.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see if we do that, or we just turn them on periodically or low. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see the fans that I got incorporated in this one. He told me to do some special ones, but he didn't tell me what it was.
Oh, he actually got the fans in there?
Yeah, he's like, we're gonna do some cool ones. So I don't know. Well, hopefully he lives up to that.
Light up.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's got something to look forward to. He's got to outdo Kyle Elder and all of that nice stuff.
Good luck.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you though. Actually, one of the coolest things about the whole thing, this is an unexpected one, is the stands that you pull out, right?
Oh, the stairs.
The stairs that you pull out. I wish I had a picture for those of you guys who haven't seen it, but there's just like thin little stairs you can pull out and flop out one way or the other. Okay, I thought it was for me to crawl in there and be able to reach in without grabbing a step stool or anything like that. And what it actually turned out to be cool, and I knew this when I saw it the first time, that my kids could walk up there. Yeah. But it's just like, I mean, heartbreaking to like watch them go up there and try to feed the fish and stuff. I'm like, it's so cool. I mean, to see my kids engaged in it, and every time we're there, like they're fighting over who gets to stand in what set of stairs. They know how to pull them out now and go see. I don't know. That's probably the coolest part for me is actually the stairs. So I don't know, Kyle. Maybe you got beat out by stairs
already.
I don't know. All right. So
there's a few more in here.
Shoot.
BRS 630, tying the Fowler to the 360's filtration. Benefits of bioload without the mess. The 630.
You know what? I'm tempted. I was thinking about how I would get water. We probably need a bigger sump or something, or at least like an overflow type of sump, like a big container or of some kind. And I don't know. I mean, this is probably 2 years out, guys. So like the 360 it looks like
just
this,
started.
right? And they're like, all right, what's the next project? But I don't know. Why not?
That's sweet. Let's see here. Richard says, I don't use feed mode. Most of the food on feed mode end up behind or under the rocks.
Yeah, so normally I say the same. It just kind of falls in there. And actually, the problem is they end up like fighting over it in the same area. But in this case, I have a totally different problem. Yeah. Right? It's that it blows away so fast I can't find it.
Yeah. Interesting.
So unless the pictures you saw where I fed 5 times inside of 5 minutes, then they have no problem.
Problem could change when you have a dozen more fish in there.
I didn't share with you the fish food I'm going to try. So my experience has been that high active fish like anthias do best when you feed them food that's most similar to what I presume is their natural diet, which is tiny little like ocean plankton. So the Calanus from PE mysis.
Oh, little tiny red stuff.
But you
Yep.
see them, it's little tiny stuff, but you see them gobble it up and tons and tons and tons of it.
That might be the ticket.
The leftover seems to be like corals seem to like it. So I'm gonna shoot the calanus in there, but I also like just from their sister, product or primary product really, I guess.
Mysis.
Yeah, the mysis. I don't know, my first tank was mysis only and did so well. I don't know, but like, I mean, I guess if I could go back, I did lose some fish. Like I lost a yellow tang out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I don't have any reason why.
Needs algae.
I probably wasn't feeding. I definitely wasn't really good about feeding
Like
nori and stuff like that. So maybe that's probably why.
Yeah.
Nutrition, I wasn't doing it properly. Well, I know. I was like in this for the first couple of years. So, I don't know. So I'm going after that mysis, and I might, if I have time tonight, maybe I'll do it in the morning tomorrow. Over on Facebook, I'll show whether or not they eat the calanus and the mysis. It'll be fun to see. Somebody asked actually last week, like, show more stuff on YouTube. Why are you going to Facebook? And there's a good reason for that. Like, I don't want to clutter up YouTube with 5-minute shots of me feeding my fish.
You get almost 7 days a week videos.
Yeah, you get all this content. It's a different thing.
Yeah.
So if you want to see Ryan in his basement feeding his fish
Talking to the phone.
sharing like why I like this specific magnet cleaner over others or goofy stuff like that,
Facebook.
It is a way better environment on Facebook or Instagram. So BRS TV guy. Just search for that.
Yeah, it's down in the description. There's a link right there.
Oh, there you go. So I don't know. I'll probably feed the calanus. You'll get to see how the anthias react to it, hopefully positively. And I'm actually going to call Elliot and ask him what he was feeding them over there.
That makes sense.
It'll be very interesting to see what he feeds in general.
TDO, that's my guess.
You think so?
Maybe.
I'll be like perplexed then why
they don't eat
I mean, they
TDO?
eat it. They just like, but I just have like a little snack. Like normally the people, the fishes gobble it up.
Yeah.
All right.
There's one more here. Jared Long, he says, what kind of rock did you use in the 360 and how long do you plan on keeping the lights off? And there is, if we maybe will just point to the playlist or something at the end of this one. We're on episode 16 of the 360. So back when in like 5, 6, or 7 or what have you, you actually see where the origin of the rock came from.
Yeah, I'll just share. I got actually a different thing I want to point to. So we used the guys over the team over at TSA, Top Shelf Aquatics, built that for me. We actually saw like example of what they'd built up north at Sean's clownfish tank in his gym. Yeah, and like, oh my God, I want that.
Tahitian Tahitian rock.
Yeah, and then. So they built that for that, shipped it up here. It's Haitian rock. Haitian rock.
There you go.
You can't find it anywhere. Sorry, that doesn't exist on the planet. But what that is the foundation for the NSA negative scape aquascape, where we take Marco rock and build a similar thing.
Yeah,
right?
it's rock readily available to everyone with some mortar, with some sand, with some super glue, and it actually ends up looking just like that.
Just for you guys to catch up, who aren't paying attention, like I took a week off as a vacation. And I spent the whole week in my driveway building aquascapes and then filming them and sharing them on Facebook. Because like, oh my God, this is so cool. And then we came here and Dave and I spent an entire week building a 120-gallon version of it.
Turned out awesome.
And then you can see that. We'll point it right here. So we'll see you guys next week. We'll have, maybe the lighting will be up there, but if not, go check out the NSA here. You can build this thing at home and you can have a very similar aquascape as the one that I have. Peace.
See ya.